The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. When there are no ceilings, the sky's the limit. Let's be stronger together, my fellow Americans.
Hello, you are listening to Hillary Planet Podcast. It is December 20th, 2017. I'm your host, Enzo Quesada, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Bobby Hester.
Hello, everyone.
It's been quite a week this week, hasn't it, Bobby?
It's pretty fun. I'm enjoying my hotel room. I like it.
Yeah. If you don't know, last episode we were still at war.
I was in Canada.
Yeah, you were in Whitehorse. I was in Syria, close to Israel. But since then we've been reassigned because the Civil War going on and whatnot. So we're currently stationed in Chicago. We're preparing to ship out to the Pennsylvania front. But I don't know. It's been a good time in Chicago. Been here the last couple of weeks. I can't complain about the accommodations.
No, that's what I was saying, is they gave us this really fancy hotel here. It's like a Hilton or something like that. But hey, all expenses are paid. I've been ordering room service the last 4 days.
Yeah, and we've been given special preference because of our veterancy, because, with the recent drafts, we've been going down to age 15, so whatever experienced soldiers we have left to teach the younger generations, they want to treat it well. So, I love having the star treatment. I think we earned at this point the amount of battles we've been in, and we better relax before we have to go back to fighting.
No, it's great because I've just been sitting up here watching Rick and Morty on TV all day long. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, I'm watching Rick and Morty too. Some
you came in and watched it with me.
Not as much as you. I haven't seen all the episodes yet.
I've seen now every episode at least
but
twice.
I have been watching a lot of 13 Reasons Why, and also getting to pick up on my video game stuff. Finished Fallout 4.
I binge watch all the Harry Potter movies.
Really?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's been a fun time in Chicago. I like staying in the hotel. I don't really like seeing the rest of the city too much. I have been able to go up to Wisconsin a couple times, though. So
well, that's good because
nice.
You're from there, right?
Yeah. So
is it true that they have a lot of cheese?
Yeah, it's known for cheese.
Is it true that they love the Packers?
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Oh, we're gonna get to that part later.
We'll get to some good Packer news, but let's get into some of the serious news because things have been I don't know, not the best, but what happened? What can you do?
I will start us off. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So first off, Clinton declares martial law after civil war breaks out. With the recent outbreak of war in the United States against the new Confederacy, President Clinton has declared martial law in the remaining United States. The new Confederacy of Donald Trump, consisting of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Pennsylvania. Did you know that, Enzo?
Yes, I did.
No, but you know what this article forgot here?
What?
Is that Alabama and Mississippi and Tennessee are all thinking about joining.
Yeah, well, that's the next thing in the article.
I know, but that's the thing I'm trying to get to, though. They said many other states have expressed interest to join the new Confederacy, as well as conditions in the United States as they degrade. Clinton has been looking to control power during a time of crisis, yet has set nationwide curfews, extreme censorship of the internet, repeal of freedom of speech, the press, and a right to a trial of one's peers in favor of progressive tribunals. Also, members of Antifa have been hired to fulfill Clinton's enforcement of these new orders to ensure total victory of the traitorous new Confederacy.
So it's obviously we didn't want this to happen, It's not good that we lost a lot of states and could lose more. But, I guess this was kind of inevitable. Texas already seceded. It seemed like a reasonable thing to do for these other states. But, we'll punish them in the end, so.
It's not like it's bad. A right to a trial of one's peers. Why do you need a trial of one's peers?
Yeah, what if someone...
What's the point in electing judges if a jury is going to decide it?
What if someone in your, the jury is racist?
Yeah.
You think they're going to see that objectively? Okay, if someone votes for Trump, I don't think they're going to, think too much about what they're about to do.
If you've got a trial case where it's an African-American man has been shot by a white cop, and you've got an all-white jury...
Yeah.
How are you ever supposed to have a fair trial?
That's not fair. That's not your peers. But I mean, that's how it used to go in the past, and that's why we've had a lot of problems. Not that like we have to worry so much about prisons. I mean, there's special prisons now for, traitors of the state. But I mean, that just makes sense,
Well, where else are you supposed to put these people? You can't just let them walk around.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, the stuff seems to make sense. You won't want people talking bad about the government on the internet. And, I mean, with nationwide curfews, we can keep track of people at night. We can, see if people check back. At night. Yeah, it is dangerous now to go out
You ever tried to walk down a neighborhood at 2 o'clock in the morning?
It's not good, especially out here in Chicago. I mean, I'm afraid to go out even a couple hours before curfew, so...
The other day, I was walking around, and I went to spit my gum out in a trash can. I saw a pistol in the trash can.
Those aren't even legal.
I know, but, they're still here. So, I don't know what's going on, dude. It's, really, really dangerous here.
But, yeah. But, speaking of banning things, we might as well get into the next article since it's about banning weaponry.
Mm-hmm. Clinton signs executive order banning baseball bats. Earlier this month, President Clinton signed an executive order banning baseball bats from private ownership. The executive order does not ban them from legitimate sports use, however, ESPN confirmed. However, the ban does mean that middle school, high school, college, and Little League players will not be allowed to own a bat to practice with, and will only be able to practice with equipment owned by a school or legitimate sports club. Max Borenstein, producer of the classic baseball movie The Sandlot, released a statement on the issue, saying, quote, "The Sandlot took baseball to a whole new level for children. The sport became popular, and millions of boys and girls across the country wanted to play. Now, that would never be possible." Walt Disney stock saw a 3.5% decline the day after the order was signed. Similar laws exist in the United Kingdom that were passed to deal with the popularity of weapon-related baseball bat modifications, such as those seen on AMC's The Walking Dead, with the main evil character Negan carrying a barbed wire-wrapped baseball bat that is used to kill people.
So, I mean, this just makes sense, Why would you have more weapons in society? That's bad, okay?
Yeah.
We're trying to stop the violence. It's been a bit hard, especially with how some things have been going, which we'll get into later. But, why do we need to even be playing baseball? Okay, that's a little dangerous. What if you get hit by the ball?
There are people every year that get hit by the ball and, get hurt.
Yeah, that causes concussions. And, what if you're a little kid and you get hit by the ball?
Yeah.
You're not going to be okay. There's no padding, unlike, football. So I don't know. I mean, what's with this dude with the Sandlot complaining, okay? That's the past. We're progressing past the past.
Yeah, we're looking forward to the future.
And, we're looking out for the future by getting rid of baseball bats. Personally, I think it's okay because, you got to practice because the MLB still has bats.
Yeah.
So, maybe have, wiffle ball bats or, T-ball. I mean, I'd love to go to a T-ball game, high school T-ball.
Yeah. Like softball.
Yeah.
Because softball is designed to be you can get hit by that and it's soft. That's why it's the name softball.
Yeah. I don't know what you'd use for a bat with softball because a wiffle ball bat really wouldn't hit it back, though.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure someone will think of something.
They'll think of something. But, some people think this is bad. I don't think so. Sports is toxic masculinity anyways.
Yeah.
Now, that's okay for some people, but we don't need that much sports. Okay.
No, I mean, the women's soccer team was paid, what was it, 25% as much as the men's soccer team?
Yeah, it was
and
part
the
of the
women's soccer team
modifier.
actually won championships.
Yeah.
The men's soccer team didn't win shit.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's pretty good stuff. But, want to get into the next thing?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So, Congress passes a bill banning homosexual marriage. Dude, this story shocked me so much. I was so infuriated when this happened, but I'll read it. In an unprecedented move of bipartisan cooperation, the Black Nationalist Party, Islam Party, and the Republican Party passed a bill banning homosexual marriage with an overwhelmingly majority in the House and a slim one-vote majority in the Senate. In a shock, many in the nation's LGBTQIA plus community are now wondering if the new coalition of the Black Nationalist Party, Islam Party, and Republican Party will attempt to pass more bigoted and regressive legislation. President Clinton has already vetoed the bill upon arrival to her desk, but it was passed with a veto-proof majority in the House. This is not good, Enzo.
This is terrible.
It's extremely bad.
What's going on?
We finally got the right of the homosexual people to marry themselves back in 2015, and they sweep it away from us. These bigoted Black Nationalist Party members, these bigoted Islam Party members.
Now, they're not bigoted because they're black or because, they're Islamic.
No, they're bigoted because of what they're doing.
Now, the Republicans, they're just bigoted.
Well, yeah, they're always bigoted. They've always been bigoted. But the Black Nationalist Party, Islam Party, they're not bigoted because of who they are. They're bigoted because they wanted to ban homosexual marriage.
Yeah. You have to make that
makes them
differentiation.
homophobes, too.
Yeah, and it just scares me. Because it starts here, and what does it go to next? Repealing the 1.5 multiplier for women?
Yeah.
I mean, what? Legalizing rape? It could get out of hand.
We have worked so hard to get to where we are. And they're taking it away from us.
And, originally we were supporters of the Black Nationalist Party and the Islam Party.
I still am.
I don't know if I could do it now, because, what if they pass more of this stuff? It's pretty bad what they did. It's pretty much violence.
Well, you know why they were able to pass it? It's because of the Republicans.
Yeah.
They still control like half of it. So it was their fault. You take them away, and all of a sudden, their combined side loses.
Yeah, the Black Nationalist Party and the Islam Party, they don't have too many seats. Just a couple senators. But
just enough
it's still too much
to tip it the other way.
It's bad. We need to get some more Democrats in here because, when Democrats are at the helm, this stuff doesn't happen. So, we got to come hard come the midterms next year. We got to get some good people in the primaries because we got to drain that swamp, okay?
Yeah.
It's not everything's good. As good as Clinton is, not everyone behind her is good.
If she had the support from people around her that should be giving her support, things would be awesome.
And one of the problems is we need less males in the Senate and the House. Okay, women don't do stuff like this. Women are generally more progressive, but it's the men that want to reinstitute patriarchy and heteronormativity, as they did with just this bill, that destroy things.
That's why what we need to do is in these primaries and in these elections coming forward, elect women, elect people of color, elect trans people.
Especially trans people.
Especially trans women of color. If there's a trans woman of color on your ballot, you need to vote for her.
Yeah. I don't know why you'd not do that anyways, but do it. Come on.
What's the alternative? A Republican? There's no choice at all. It's obvious who you gotta pick.
I thought we were, past all this Republican stuff, especially with the new Confederacy, but Hillary's polling numbers haven't been so good. The support for the, opposition's going up. And generally, the opposition party succeeds in getting more seats come the midterms.
Yeah.
When, the sitting president's there. So, yeah, it could get really bad. We just have to be realist on these things. And that's why we need to take, these upcoming elections very seriously.
Of course. Want to move on to the next story?
Yeah.
So, President Clinton has announced January is #MeToo month. With the groundswell of support for the #MeToo campaign, President Clinton Wednesday morning signed, by executive order, a declaration to proclaim #MeToo month. This move has seen praise from feminist groups across the world as raising the awareness of sexual assault and harassment. With the rise of the movement, Congress has looked to aid in the fight by passing legislation to require the accused male exceeding a privilege level of 60 to be guilty until proven innocent. Prominent feminist activist Becca Bloom has said the following in regards to the passage. Quote, "Today has been a victory for all the oppressed women in the United States. No longer will capitalist, white supremacist patriarchy hold down women to suffer. Male-identifying folks will receive their retributive punishment for the centuries of oppression. America will now serve as a beacon to the world for equality."
So this is great stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
We are so behind the #MeToo movement. Okay, we have a lot of privilege. So, we definitely need to watch this because we screw up and,
What
it's
was your
over.
privilege level? Mine was like 94.
It was 90.
It was really, really high.
Mine was 92.
Yeah.
So, not good. It's not hard to get above 60. Most men have over 60. So
I saw some data statistics. They said that 91% of white people are all over 60.
But that's okay because, like, women don't lie about these things.
We need to believe women.
Yeah. Why would you not?
Why would a woman lie about this?
It's very serious, okay? That's why they started the hashtag, because this is widespread. Especially in things like, Hollywood, or we saw a lot of the stuff in the media, or we saw a lot of stuff where Congress is connected to this stuff. And those are the power epicenters of our country, okay? That's where patriarchy emanates from the most.
And the thing is, about the women that come forward talking about how they've been sexually harassed and assaulted, you need to remember something. That only a few women come forward. Yeah. There are so many more that don't. And if we saw the full extent of these women, we would know just how bad the patriarchy actually is.
Yeah.
Just how bad it is, and yet we ignore it. And our complicity, it's violence against them, Enzo.
And you got these Republican fascists that don't even believe patriarchy is a thing. But, more and more we see the patriarchy and its ugly head every single day. But I'm glad with the hashtag MeToo movement, we do have more women, that feel secure enough to accuse their, sexual harasser or whoever, had their improprieties with them.
And I want more women to come forward because that's the only way that we're going to change things. More women need to come forward. They need to start accusing these men, these rapist men, of the sexual assault that we all know that they're doing. I mean, the problem is men, Enzo.
Yeah.
The problem is men.
And honestly, okay, I have a little fear that I could be abused, but I'm a feminist, I'm a progressive man, I voted for Clinton, I feel pretty secure in not doing it. But really, the only people that would feel afraid are the ones doing, the bad stuff. So what's there to fear? And even if a guy, in the hypothetical, was falsely accused, for all the centuries of oppression women have had under the patriarchy, okay, I'm a little more concerned about what their experience is.
Yeah, exactly. And so, we've let people get away with it so much that we need to be punished for their wrongdoings, because otherwise nothing will ever be equal in the world.
Yeah, and equality is the most important thing, okay?
Yes.
That's what we're working for. Progress. So let's move forward and get behind this. But, I don't know. I don't have anything else for this, do you?
Nah, I think we can move on.
Okay, let's go on to the economy.
Yeah. So, the United States GDP declined 13% in the third quarter. Economic gloom continues as the Federal Reserve number showed the GDP of the United States saw its single largest quarter of decline in history, dropping 13% between July and September. Much of this is due to the creation of the new Confederacy, war with Russia, and increased government welfare programs to pay for refugees, free college, and illegal immigrants recently granted amnesty and citizenship.
Okay, so I really don't think that this is as bad as they make it out to be, okay?
Why is that, Enzo?
And I assume that, GDP is down a little bit. I don't think it's as bad as what it's saying.
13%, they gotta be lying about that.
Some of the, the GDP has to be the states that left. And, the war is kind of expensive, but, the free college stuff, okay, it's creating new jobs. If people have degrees, it's making the economy better because we're more educated. And we all know immigrants, bring jobs, and they increase the GDP.
Every immigrant raises your country's GDP.
And, immigration has been going up like a ton. So, we're going to balance it out at the end of the day.
It's one of those things where it takes a few months to even itself out, and then it continues.
Yeah, and you need to get, their first installments of, welfare and free college and free healthcare.
These things take time, Enzo.
Yeah, because you need to, lift them up a little bit, and then they take the ball and run with it. And that's what we've seen in the world with immigration and, admittance of refugees.
So, yeah, it's one of those things where it seems bad now, but give it 2, 3, 6 months, and we'll be back on top.
Yeah, it's really not that bad. We'll recover from this. Mm-hmm. And, America's gone through worse, so.
And, hey, we still have good news coming up next. You ready for it? So, the United States officially recognizes a 100th gender. The Department of Sexual Scientific Research, headed by none other than our best friend Bill Nye. I love Bill Nye. Don't you love Bill Nye?
Bill Nye's great. Have you seen his thing on Netflix?
Yeah.
That show is pretty cool.
I watched it 4 times.
4 times?
Yeah. I got a lot of free time here in this hotel room, Enzo.
Yeah, we do get a lot of free time. I have to, spend some time with my wife and Jamal, so. I don't get to watch stuff as much.
Yeah,
but I mean,
that's true.
married life.
I know.
But,
What are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I'll continue.
Yes.
So, the Department of Sexual Scientific Research, headed by Bill Nye, has officially recognized the 100th gender in the nation. The gender identity of Pottersexual, identifying oneself as sexually attracted to Harry Potter fans, has been a part of research undertaken by the federal government to the tune of $5 billion this year. Quote, understanding the sexual construction of gender and breaking the gender binary has been the focus of our research. To be able to say, my sex junk is not man or woman, but rather astrological, dysphagitic, star children, or transductive femlash, presenting bodied individual is a true liberation of the human soul, said Bill Nye to the media at the 100th Gender Announcement press conference.
This
in
is
Seattle,
amazing.
Washington.
In Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We haven't lost that yet.
No.
So, this is amazing. Because, we're destroying the gender binary, okay? People in the past only thought there's two. That's dumb. But now we are so beyond that. I'm glad, Hillary got Bill Nye and put him in the head of the Department of Sexual Science Research and actually funded this thing. Because we wouldn't have been able to do this otherwise.
And they said people were complaining that the $5 billion number was high or something like that. But here's the thing. If you hadn't spent it, you wouldn't have found out that there's another gender. What is the cost of scientific research? I say there is no price involved.
Yeah, and the money spent to validate people's gender identities is worth it. Because the satisfaction they get from being an oppressed person all their life that was never validated until now, you need reparations for that. Mm-hmm. And we're all about reparations.
I love reparations.
They are.
I heard that Congress was working on some tax reform.
Yes.
And that if you were white or male, you had to pay an extra $2,000 in taxes for black reparations.
Ooh, wow. Is the Black Nationalist Party? Well, obviously they're pushing that. Do they have coalition on this? Or?
Yeah, they got coalition with the Democrat Party and the Islam Party.
Oh, man. So this is going to pass pretty soon.
No, it already did.
Really?
It passed the House, at least. The Senate, they're still working on it.
Okay.
It's not there yet. But if they get it done within the next week or so, it'll go into effect next year.
Wow.
So it's great news.
I'm glad that we're going to get tax reform finished because, Hillary didn't really talk about it so much, but, it is important. And, you need to economically enfranchise the disenfranchised, which, who is that in this country? Predominantly African Americans.
Mm-hmm. And they're also raising taxes on the 1%, which is good. I heard Bernie Sanders, he got a bill passed that was the same thing that he wanted before, to where every single time someone buys or sells a stock in the stock market, they have to pay a 5% tax, and that goes to fund our free college.
5% isn't a lot.
No, of course.
That's not even half, which
That's
is,
a
most
nickel
tax rates.
compared to $1.
Yeah, so why does that even matter? We're a little sidetracked, though. Let's get into some immigration stuff.
So the United States refugee admittance broke 5 million. In a historic achievement of the Clinton administration, the United States has admitted its 5 millionth refugee this year, with global leaders such as Angela Merkel, Justin Trudeau, and Theresa May applauding the achievement. Clinton has declared a new initiative to create a special visa to increase immigration from the recently peace Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. Because, remember, Enzo, when we signed the peace deal with Russia and Syria, we had already given that land to ISIS.
Yeah.
But Russia was still fighting them. That's why we were fighting them.
Yeah.
But when we signed that peace deal, Syria and Iraq combined under the ISIS flag.
They wanted to be under them anyways.
Exactly. And so I'm so happy that, the war is over there, Enzo. We're both back home.
And, now that these people aren't fighting, they can actually focus on improving their lives. And, these people are full of so much potential, okay? You talk about historically. Let's get into some history. They are the fertile crescent of the Euphrates. It's right there in Iraq. And Syria, historically, it's had so many cultures there. The multiculturalism mixes together to enhance their lives. So these are super people. And if we get as many of them here as possible, which we've done a lot with refugees already, but this visa, it's going to make it 10 times better.
I know, it's going to be awesome. So I'll finish reading this here. Who said this quote? Clinton said this quote. She said, quote, We have created a global environment to expand equality to the less fortunate than us. Compassion, humility, and diversity has encapsulated this year of progress. We are no longer dividing ourselves in the world, but mixing to a vibrant, multicultural organism of potential. All nations should follow our example, said Clinton at a special private dinner at the D.C. Comet Pizza Palace. Have you tried the Comet Pizza here in Chicago, Enzo?
I have. I've got it ordered out. I did the favor because that can't go out.
I just used Uber Eats.
Is
favor better than Uber Eats, you think?
It doesn't charge you as much, so you should probably get on. I mean, it's the government monies anyways. Who cares?
Well, I got really good Wi-Fi in here, so it'd probably get here faster, right?
Yeah, part of the free national Wi-Fi.
Hell
you can go
yeah!
You can go anywhere and get Wi-Fi. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But, it's still stronger in some areas than others.
Or is it, closer in your hotel to, a tower, or?
Oh, the tower's on top of my hotel.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I'm, literally right under it. It's, really good signal, dude.
But, yeah, so refugees, we know a lot about refugees.
Yes.
Yes, because, in San Marcos, before, Texas seceded and kicked out the refugees, and, before we shipped out, we got to spend a lot of time with Somali refugees. We didn't get to hang out with Syrians, but, we had 25,000, I think, in the city, and the hummus trucks were amazing. And, something I forgot to talk about, in the last couple episodes, also very good. The falafel stands, very underrated. Not too many, but these people can cook.
Yeah. Did you try the one called Mike's Falafel?
No.
There was this one Somali refugee. His name was Mike. Or at least he said his name was Mike. He had a falafel stand called his. I saw him in Chicago, dude.
Really?
Because he said he was going to travel to a nation serving his falafels. I saw him last week.
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, dude, what's up? And he's like, hey, Bobby, I see you again. I said, yeah, dude, I bought his falafels.
So, yeah, the refugees, they're great. They're awesome. They make everything better.
Yeah.
And 5 million? Okay, that's a good start, but next year, let's try to get more.
We could have double the amount of falafel stands, dude.
Yeah.
That would be like hot dog stands in New York, but falafel stands everywhere else.
Yeah. So we might as well get into the next thing because I kind of mentioned it.
Yeah. So Texas refugees resettle in Illinois. With Texas's secession from the Union several months ago, their new policy has been to remove the roughly 1.5 million refugees that were settled there during the first 6 months of the Clinton administration. These removed refugees have been struggling to find a place to stay, many of which heading north up to Chicago, Illinois. The city has seen around 800,000 refugees move directly there from Texas. This has been an issue in the city, however, because the refugees are mainly supporters of the Islam political party, while the Black Nationalist Party has registered 35% of the city's voters, a small plurality, but enough to control majorities on the city council. The clash of parties may throw off control of local Black Nationalist Party controlled districts and thus control of the city itself. So, you remember how bad things used to be during the 2016 election with commercials of politics all over the place?
Yeah.
It's going to be even worse now because the Islam Party and the Black Nationalist Party, although they kind of like each other, they still got different interests that they like to fight for.
And then
that's going to lead to a lot of mudslinging and stuff on TV here.
And then you got the Democrats on top of that, which used to be the majority, but there's a lot of white Democrats that are now voting for the Black Nationalist Party and the Islam Party. They obviously can't join officially, but I mean, you can still vote for them. So, I mean, politics here in Chicago, it's kind of gotten crazy from the refugees, but I mean, if someone from the Islam Party, the Black Nationalist Party, or, whatever, or the Democrats, whoever's in charge, I mean, I don't care. They're good enough. As long as they're not Republicans. That's what matters.
That's all that matters.
So
gotta hate Republicans.
Yeah, they are fascists. So.
Which, I guess we should also mention the next story, too.
Because it's about a Republican.
It's about stupid Republicans.
So, let's get into the election portion of the news.
Special election upset as Mel Gibson beats Michelle Obama in the Illinois Senate race. We were here the entire time, Enzo. We were literally sent here by the Democrat Party to vote for this thing. Why do you think we're here? We were sent here to vote and canvass for Michelle Obama, dude. And she still lost.
We got the t-shirts made, and we got to actually meet her.
I'm wearing the t-shirt right now. It's signed by her. Michelle Obama, 2017.
It's rough, dude. I've been really depressed, and like Mel Gibson.
Should I just read the article?
Yeah.
This last Tuesday, Illinois voters took to the polls to vote in the Illinois Senate special election between Democrat candidate Michelle Obama and Republican candidate and actor Mel Gibson. In a shocking upset victory, Mel Gibson won 51.2% of the vote after polls showed him being down by as much as 7 points. The victory is being blamed on a large increase in white rural Republican voters who normally sit out of off-year elections in the reliably blue state of Illinois. Gibson has been controversial in statements he's made in the past, leading to accusations of anti-Semitism, racism, and homophobia. Michelle Obama has called for a recount in the election, but liberal news commentators have blamed a lack of motivation and get-out-the-vote efforts by the Black Nationalist Party. The Republican Party is framing this as a referendum against President Clinton.
It's like, why did this have to happen? Michelle, it was her time.
This is a blue state.
It is.
But how is a Republican supposed to win in a blue state?
But like, you look at the map with all the districts, and like, the only blue place really is Chicago. So, I don't know. I mean, we're just not reaching, like, you know, as they said, the rural districts, and that's where bigotry mainly happens, from rural communities, because they're not around diversity. You know, they don't know the benefits, so they vote against it.
And you know what I think, Enzo? I think there was voter fraud here.
There probably was, dude.
I bet you that a bunch of Republicans from the other states came in to vote.
Well, do you know about the Koch brothers?
Yeah.
They finance a lot of that stuff. I mean, they're doing it all the time.
Don't they own the voting machines here?
I'm not actually sure.
Or they own like one of the electricity company or something that powers the voting machines?
I mean, they do.
I know they own something has to do with it.
Yeah,
they own the TV networks where the commercials are.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh
yeah.
Man, that kind of makes some sense. Why were even Republican ads allowed to be on TV?
It's hate speech. It's literally electing hate speech.
Yeah, Mel Gibson. Okay, we could talk forever about Mel Gibson, but we got to get into this guy. Okay, anti-Semitism. He called Winona Ryder an oven dodger. An oven dodger.
That's extremely racist and anti-Semitic.
That's extremely bigoted. And like, you remember that video where he was like drunk?
Yeah.
He was like being an asshole. I mean, you know, do you have some of the quotes in the rallies he was giving? Because they were...
Yeah, I do. Let me bring it up real quick.
Okay, you bring him up a little bit.
I took a screenshot of an article.
Yeah.
That had some quotes that he said. Let me see if I can find... Here it is. Ready? So this was what he was asked when a reporter walked up to him and asked him about, you know, him being a bad person that could potentially be elected to the Senate.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, there's some language here, so pardon it. He says, quote, "I am one tough motherfucker, and you can't bother me anymore. You ask anybody what their number one fear is, and it's public humiliation. Multiply that in a global scale, and that's what I've been through. It changes you and makes you one tough motherfucker. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." So, like, you understand what I'm saying, right?
He just doesn't care.
He doesn't care at all.
He doesn't care. He doesn't give a fuck.
And now he's going to be the senator in this state for the next 6 years.
Dude, Me Too was made for guys like this.
Yeah.
You know, I said Hollywood is the source of a lot of this
Where
stuff.
are the women coming forward accusing Mel Gibson of sexual assault?
Yeah, it has to have
Where
happened.
were you?
Where were you? Oh, man, okay. And, like, I thought we were done with this kind of, like, campaigns like this after Donald Trump lost. But, like, Mel Gibson ran a campaign that was just like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It was mired with controversy, but he just didn't care.
You know, I think we need to look into... the foreign influence of this election.
Yeah.
Because Donald Trump down there in his seceded new Confederacy, being all Mr. President down there, was tweeting his support for Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
That should be illegal.
Yeah. And, like, you know, also the Russians.
Yeah.
Okay, who's to stop the Russians from hacking the thing?
Who signed a peace deal allying themselves with the new Confederacy?
The Russians.
The Russians.
The Russians.
Putin himself flew down to Texas to do it with Trump.
It's insane. What is going on with the world? Mel Gibson is going to the Senate.
And here's the thing. Mel Gibson is going to vote against everything that us Democrats here in Illinois believe in.
Yeah.
And he's going to be extremely unpopular. There's nothing you can do about it. And we're sitting here when he becomes the vote that causes Republicans to start getting everything they want, and the Democrats don't get anything they want. You're going to be sitting there saying, why didn't I get out to vote against this guy?
Yeah. Republican turnout was through the roof. I mean, these numbers are insane.
They got like 85, 90% of what they normally get, and we got only like half.
That's why I think voter fraud definitely happened.
It hasn't been voter fraud.
I did see them around a lot, you know, with their campaigning, but it can't be that high.
Hell, we committed voter fraud. We're not registered here, and even we still lost.
Well, don't say stuff like that. But, like, yeah, well, of course we voted here. Why else would we come here?
Why else would we be here?
Why else?
It's not baseball season anymore.
Yeah, Michelle knows that, like, we're down with the cause.
Yeah.
So, you know, but what if, like, Mel Gibson, because, you know, 2020, we have to watch out for that. What if he ran against Hillary? Because, I mean, he's very popular against Republicans. And, like, the country is getting redder as, like, people are getting mad about the Clinton administration. I mean, I think it's great, but a lot of people don't at this point.
Well, a lot of places that are blue are becoming even bluer. Because all the Republicans, they've left. They've gone to the new Confederacy.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, other areas are just blue. You know what my concern is, Enzo?
What?
My concern is that, like, the Republicans are going to, like, control certain areas. Because we already saw Pennsylvania join the Confederacy.
Yeah.
You know, it's all by itself.
Yeah.
At least the other areas are, like, you know, landlocked together. You can just go around them. But Pennsylvania, Trump won Pennsylvania. Surprisingly. Thank God we won Florida.
Pennsylvania's good at fighting, dude. Like, it's not going good, the war in Pennsylvania.
You know where Gettysburg was in? You remember Gettysburg, right?
Yeah.
The big
like
battle in the Civil War.
Yeah.
It was, like, the defining moment. You know where that was in?
Pennsylvania. What if we had to fight there?
They
again?
have a history of fighting civil wars there.
What if we had to do Gettysburg too? What if we have to fight in that? Okay, that's
God,
gonna be very scary. I hope not. It could happen though, dude.
It's very possible.
But let's get into the other thing we have for election news.
Yeah, at least this one, you know, there's some optimism going forward.
It's still kind of rough. But
race for McCain's former Senate seat heats up. As time draws closer to the Arizona Senate special election to replace former Democratic Senator John McCain, the race between Democrat candidate Ann Kirkpatrick and Republican candidate and former Sheriff Joe Arpaio has heated up. With polls showing the two tied at 45% each, it's up in the air as to who will be the victor in the special election on January 23rd. Sheriff Joe Arpaio is still under investigation by the FBI for potential racial profiling. And Kirkpatrick hopes to win as she lost to then Republican Senator John McCain in his re-election in 2016. With around 1 month until the special election, Arpaio held a rally in front of the Phoenix New Confederacy Embassy, vowing to support any effort by Arizona to secede from the United States and join the Texas-led New Confederacy under their new president, Donald J. Trump. Kirkpatrick has promised to help President Clinton by resettling 50,000 refugees in Arizona every year, as well as continuing to help the immigrants who were granted to amnesty and full citizenship to vote. Kirkpatrick hopes this increase in voters, nearly all Democrat, will tip the election in her favor.
So, I mean, you know, this is a close one. We gotta watch, you know, because this only happens in like a couple months, you know.
1 month?
1 month.
1 month.
Okay, so we gotta really watch this one closely. Because, I mean, ever since we lost John McCain, rest in peace, you know, that guy was a solid Democrat. Even when he was a Republican, he sided with us. But, Joe Arpaio, this guy is insane.
This guy's worse than Mel Gibson.
Have you heard about the concentration camps he ran in, like, the desert?
It was like Hitler tier.
Yeah, he was taking, undocumented immigrants. He was making them wear, like, pink jumpsuits in the middle of a desert.
That's like making the Jews have to wear them stars.
Yeah.
It's like before the Holocaust, dude.
Yeah, it is very Holocaust-esque. So, I mean, could you imagine if that guy goes into the Senate along with Mel Gibson? Okay, I mean, the Democrats, we lose our majority at that point. And we already have, the Black Nationalist Party and the Islam Party and the Republicans passing some pretty scary legislation. What kind of, potentially anti-Semitic legislation?
You know who else was the anti-Semitic legislation?
What?
Hitler!
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, this all stuff is connected. These people are freaking Nazis.
Yeah, the Republican Party is, we already called them fascists, but they are essentially Nazis.
They're the American Nazi Party.
Yeah, it's pretty much only white people to begin with. So, they're probably
I
Nazis.
told you, that's kind of redundant, dude. Nazis.
Yeah. So, I don't know. The polls are pretty close. I hope some of the listeners head out to Arizona and try to help that out. Voting and canvassing because, we
get
need
as many of the new citizens that were the illegal people that were granted citizenship. Get them registered to vote immediately.
Yes.
As hard as you can.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're going to continue to lose these elections. This is how we win in the future. You need to do it.
And, I want to let the listeners on a thing that they might not know about. Like, the DNC gives grants for you to head out there to, cover the expenses for you. You just need to apply. They pretty much accept anyone as long as you can commit to going.
As long as you apply and you can get yourself there, you're good.
And they'll cover you as far as, the IDs and stuff. That's no problem.
They also pay for your hotel room and your gas.
You
gotta show them your receipts.
It is a pretty good setup. So, definitely, if you have the time and the ability to go out there, do it. Because, we can't lose this one. Okay, we just lost Mel Gibson.
The fate of our country is at stake here.
And, if we lose, we already lost the Illinois seat, and we lose this Arizona seat, I'm afraid that this is going to be a trend that we can't stop, this red wave.
And imagine if he gets elected, and then Arizona secedes. Then we got to go fight Arizona, too.
Yeah, and I don't want to fight in the desert. I just fought in the desert. Okay, Pennsylvania's a little easier.
Is it hot out there?
In Pennsylvania?
No, in the desert.
Yeah, very hot, especially Arizona.
Is it hotter than Texas?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's really
Dude,
hot.
and Phoenix, it gets to 110 sometimes.
Really?
It's really hot.
Oh, well. It was really cold when I was in Canada.
Yeah.
It's kind of cold in Pennsylvania, but I'm not sure. I was a little bit farther north.
It's not as bad. It's cold in Chicago, too.
That's true.
You gotta get used to it.
Oh, but, speaking of Chicago, you know that big old, dome-looking thing?
Yeah.
That, shiny thing?
Yeah.
Did you go there yet?
No, I haven't.
I went there.
What's it like?
It was really cool. I could see my reflection and everything. I took a selfie. I put it on Instagram. It got 150 likes.
That sounds cool. A lot of, social validation.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
But, we're being distracted. Let's get into the bottom of the stack news. We got some good stuff. I'll read the first one.
Okay.
I know a bit more about this stuff.
Yeah.
Survey finds cuckoldry on the rise. A survey conducted by the American Sexual Health Association of 5,000 people finds that 1 in 3 relationships engage in cuckoldry. A previous study by the American Sexual Health Association conducted back in 2015 found that only 1 in 50 relationships engaged in cuckoldry. Respondents cited many different factors in their newfound sexual behaviors. From wanting to empower their partner, an inability to completely satisfy one's partner. Articles from sites such as Huffington Post, BuzzFeed, and Salon citing the intellectual nature of cuckoldry and a desire to dismantle the nuclear family and the patriarchy. One particular individual named Carl surveyed said the following: "Ever since I opened up my marriage to Tyrone, my wife has been glowing from her newfound sexual satisfaction. At the same time, I feel like I'm doing my part to combat white supremacy by letting Tyrone potentially impregnate my wife instead of me, which will prevent more white children from entering the world. We all benefit greatly from the cuckoldry."
Now, what is cuckoldry, Enzo?
Cuckoldry is when you let another man, predominantly African Americans, fuck your wife and you just watch.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it refers to I believe it's the cuckoo that this sometimes happens to them. It's kind of like an old thing. It's been around for centuries. But, me and Amy have experience with it. And, It's okay. I mean, it's kind of humiliating and eats up at me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. But, like, her satisfaction levels exceed my, like, dissatisfaction. So, like, generally I'm increasing the happiness in the world. So, I mean, I'm fine with it.
You know, that's kind of interesting because, like, you said normally the guy just sits there and watches, right?
Yeah.
Because the other night, I was on Tinder, right?
Yeah.
And I found this Tinder date. It was this, like, you know, middle-aged type of woman, right?
Yeah.
So I go to her apartment, and, like, all the lights are off, you know? All the lights are off.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, where are you? I kept tripping and falling down. And, like, as we were, you know, doing what you do for Tinder, you know what I heard?
What?
I heard breathing coming from beside the bed.
Breathing?
But, like, I couldn't see because it was so dark. So, like, I'm not sure, dude.
Maybe you were cucking someone else.
That's what I'm thinking.
But
I
mean,
there's no way I'm going to figure out who it was.
I guess it's cool if you're doing that.
I don't know. I mean, I said it was her apartment. It was actually a hotel room, but it was, like, a really nice hotel room.
Yeah.
So, like, whoever she was probably at one of these, like, nice hotels that, like, the DNC is putting us at.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What hotel are you at?
I'm at the Hilton on the north side.
Okay, because I'm in the Hilton on the east side.
Okay.
That was about the same area I was at, too.
All right.
Anyways.
Well, one thing I want to get into, because as I said, I have some experience with cuckoldry, and I guess you might have some now. So
I guess
we could have
from
some
the other side of it.
Yeah, from the side of the bowl as opposed to the cuckold. But I want to get into something that, you know, Carl, got into, and that's the intellectual nature, or I mean the article in general, the intellectual nature of cuckoldry. Because, like, you know, the psychological warfare that you, like, engage in to, you know, watch your wife be fucked by another man, like, if you can get beyond that, like, it shows that, like, you know, you just don't care. Like, you're fine with anything. Like, oh, I should be mad right now, but really, like, I'm not. So, like, who is the real boss? Okay, the people having sex, they're just thirsty. I'm just sitting back. I'm having fun. I'm just jacking out. It's great, you know. It shows that I can combat, like, the pressures to engage in heterosexual, you know, sex, you know, white man to white woman, you know, because Amy.
So you've moved past the patriarchy at that point.
I have moved past the patriarchy, and that's why I say, like, it's very intellectual, because, like, you know, I'm fighting my mind. My natural instinct is, like, you know, Amy's my girl, but really, Amy's not my girl, okay? She is her own woman. She chooses to sleep with me sometimes, and we got married. But, like, you know, I want to empower my wife, and I want her to sexually liberate herself. And, you know, that's why it's great that we opened up our marriage.
And, you know, it doesn't matter if, in order to do that, you gotta leave the lights off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you gotta have the person come to you instead of you going to them. It doesn't matter if you're finished and you order Pizza Hut when you're done and you have it delivered to your room. It doesn't matter if you even leave some behind for the other person who you may have been cucking.
Yeah.
It's all perfectly fine.
As long as everyone's consenting. I mean, what's the problem?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I got no problem.
Yeah, that's cuckoldry. And I mean, I think it's good that this is happening, because it shows, like, women are getting to actually sexually satisfy themselves.
And,
now.
you know, the more white women
Yeah.
that cuckold their white husbands with black men, more black children will enter the world.
Yeah.
And less white children will enter the world.
And, like,
and so, like you know,
mixed children,
white people are racist. We don't
Yeah.
need racism.
Yeah.
We need less white children.
And
which is
mixed children, okay, they're more beautiful, they're more athletic. Like, the benefits are pretty much endless. So, yeah, I'm down with cuckoldry 100%.
good for you, Enzo.
Let's go into the next thing. I guess you could get into this since you understand Rick and Morty a bit better than I do.
Well, I've seen every episode.
Yeah.
You've seen a few. I invited you over to watch a few.
Yeah, I saw a couple. It's a pretty good show.
I like it. So, the lack of Szechuan sauce at McDonald's has led Rick and Morty fans to riot. Last Saturday, McDonald's brought back for one time only the famous Szechuan sauce, made popular by the Adult Swim TV show Rick and Morty. The show recently topped the Nielsen ratings as the most watched show in the United States, with nearly 36 million weekly viewers. McDonald's wanted to partner with Adult Swim to bring back the sauce as a way of bringing in more customers. What happened next was unexpected to all. Over 14 million fans showed up to McDonald's locations nationwide, demanding to try the sauce. Riots broke out at thousands of locations, including one McDonald's in Middleton, New Jersey, which was burned down, causing the fire to spread to both a Burger King and a Taco Bell nearby. Photos and videos of fights and smashing windows were posted online under the hashtag Szechuan Riots, which also became the #1 trending topic on Facebook and Twitter.
Not good. We need to do a little better than this. I mean, yeah, I want the sauce too, but
see, when I went down there, I didn't riot though. I stood in line patiently.
yeah.
And like you, I sent you back to the room to like get my phone because I forgot it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how long I was down there. I wasn't able to take any pictures. I wish I was. That would have been cool.
Did you get any sauce?
No, they ran out. They only had like
sucks.
100 packets per place. They got like 14 million people showed up.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess, I haven't seen all of Rick and Morty, obviously, so I don't understand.
And so
the
if
passion.
you watched every episode, you would understand. You just don't understand. You need to educate yourself, Enzo.
I feel like I'm not, big-brained enough. Like, I'm not smart enough or, intellectual enough to really grasp all that's happening in Rick and Morty.
Well, that's true. The show is pretty intellectual.
It's pretty cerebral. Like, the whole, alternate realities thing and, Pickle Rick. Oh, man, that was insane.
I bought a Pickle Rick pillow.
Really?
Yeah. It's a giant, 3-foot-long pillow of Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick keeps you warm at night.
There's this Rick and Morty poster I bought myself. I hung it in my hotel room.
That's pretty cool that you get to modify. I wouldn't think to even add stuff for decoration.
Do you want a Rick and Morty poster too? I know where to get some.
Yeah.
Good. I'll get you one. Don't worry. I'll get you.
You know what I'd really want?
What's up?
I want a Rick and Morty bumper sticker because everyone would think that's so cool. I don't know, but it's not great that people are rioting, but I guess I just don't understand Rick and Morty to the degree
here's the
that
thing,
I should.
though. McDonald's promised. They said, come in on Saturday to get the Szechuan sauce. People came in on Saturday, and they didn't get the Szechuan sauce. What McDonald's did, McDonald's straight up lied to them.
Dude, that's capitalism.
Lied to them.
That's
this
capitalism.
is crony capitalism at its finest.
No,
it needs to end.
It's just capitalism.
I know,
This
and
is how
it's
it
crony,
works.
too. And so, because McDonald's lied, you see, by McDonald's lying, they did violence against you by wasting your time. Your time is valuable to you. They stole your wealth from you, Enzo. So by you smashing a window or hitting an employee, it's justified because they lied to you.
Now, I want to get into something that a lot of people haven't talked about, but, it's something that I've been thinking about. And is Szechuan sauce cultural appropriation by selling it in the United States? Because obviously not every person selling it is Asian.
Well, what's that have to do with it?
Szechuan is from China.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I didn't know that. I learned something today, Enzo.
Yeah.
Now I feel smarter.
Well,
maybe I can watch Rick and Morty again.
The whole Szechuan sauce thing goes back because they talk about this, first episode of season 3. Because I've seen the Szechuan sauce episode at least.
I have too.
And it was originally a 1998 Mulan, cartoon movie, Disney, and they brought out the sauce to promote it for the movie, but was that just capitalism? Because movies aren't free, McDonald's isn't free, the sauce wasn't free, and it's cultural appropriation. So I know people want the sauce, but I think it's best if you abstain from it unless you're Asian.
I can get behind that sentiment.
I think that's the perspective we need on this. It's good that we go into this because I don't think people think really that hard about it.
No, it's you're absolutely right. And, the next story that we have kind of explains why the riots broke out the way they did.
Yeah, so let's get into that.
All right. Police engaged in strikes nationwide. Police across the nation have taken to the streets to protest grievances to the Clinton administration. Citing uncontrollable crime from recent immigrants and the abolition of prisons due to racial disparities, entire cities are falling to anarchy due to the lack of law and order. This really isn't that bad, said New York Times columnist Rudy Martinez The fascist white supremacist police are merely the enforcers of hegemonic capitalist patriarchy, protecting the enriched power structure of the 1%. True safety comes from the common ownership of the proletariat, policing their communities with the guide of dedicated anti-fascists.
Yeah. I think Rudy Martinez is on point there.
He's my favorite New York Times columnist.
And, okay, the police are not rioting, they're protesting. Okay, saying stuff like immigrants commit a lot of crime or, getting rid of the prisons because of racial disparities are bad. Okay, that's just them being white supremacists. And that's the general problem with the police. They're predominantly white males, okay? And they're definitely not anti-fascists, okay? They don't dress like them.
They are fascists.
And, they're the lumpen proles. They're the enablers of the capitalistic class. I mean, it's messed up. So, it's not the worst, but if people riot, like we saw with the McDonald's stuff, they're justified.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's not the best, but it's okay.
Well, I'm down with abolishing the police.
At least, Hillary has the bands of anti-fascists, and that should make up for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't have anything else on this, do you?
No, but the next story, I think this one's yours, isn't it?
Yes. This week in My Black Sun News, star freshman running back from the University of Wisconsin and runner-up for the Heisman Award, Jamal Horowitz, has recently dropped out of the school and has signed with the Green Bay Packers. Horowitz signed for the Packers with just 1 week left in the regular season, facing the historic rival Chicago Bears with a chance at the playoffs. If the Packers can win on Sunday, they will mathematically be in the wild card. Horowitz was allowed to go straight to the NFL after his freshman year due to revised NCAA rules because of the passing of the free college bill earlier in the year.
Congratulations, Enzo. Your black son's going to the NFL.
Yeah, I'm so proud of Jamal. And the great thing is, when I go up to Wisconsin, everyone pretty much worships me because, I raised a Green Bay Packer. It's pretty...
You know what's also really cool?
Yeah.
The game is against Chicago.
Yeah,
and we're in Chicago, so you got us tickets to the game, so we're going. It's front row seats.
Yeah, I got because Jamal's got a lot of money now. He can actually afford it. So Jamal got me, you, and Amy front row seats. So it's gonna be a fun time. And I'm not so into football so much, but it's what Jamal is good at, and I'm there for him as his father.
I just hope there aren't any white players that are protesting by standing for the national anthem.
Yeah, it really is a shame that we still see that. And, NFL ratings are still, plummeting because of it. But, it's so bigoted. That's why, people are not watching.
But you know what? I will be there, and I will be kneeling just like President Clinton told us to do.
Yeah. So, Jamal...
And we're all going to be wearing those... Horowitz, number 88 jerseys, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. So, I'm really looking forward to the game on Sunday. And, Jamal, he's so good. He's got such a bright future ahead of him. I'm really proud of him. Okay, my wife's black son, Jamal, it feels like he's my son. And, I've been there for the last couple of months with him. I love his mother so much. It's really great having a family. Yeah. I'm really proud of him.
I think it's cool that, he's on ESPN every single day. See, I just spend all day flipping through TV channels now. And, I started watching ESPN because of, your black son Jamal being on there. And now, they talk about him all the time, so it's really, really cool.
Yeah, he tells me over the phone about, all the different interviews he's doing and all the cool, exclusive parties he's going to and, all the white girls that he's fucking. And it's really... I couldn't be more proud of him. Like I said before, it's great having a son. Yeah. And Jamal is a wonderful son. He's a good boy.
God, I hope I can have a son soon.
Yeah, I think, you're still young. Yeah. Let's go on to the next article.
So the opioid epidemic is continued to ravage Appalachia. The opioid crisis declared early in the year has taken a brutal toll on Appalachia. With a death toll of roughly 100 to 200,000, the crisis continues with no end in sight. The death toll rise is seen in tandem with the rise in white male suicides, stemming from the extreme pressures placed on men as unemployment with the banning and destruction of coal mines via a Clinton executive order. The long wait times in ration medicine due to the recently implemented universal healthcare system in the country leaves a dark torment on the people of Appalachia, thus looking to leave generations of dysfunction yet to still come in the future.
I mean, they voted for Trump. Do you even really care?
No, I don't.
Not at all. Okay,
and some of those people in Pennsylvania too, and they seceded. So fuck them.
Yeah, Pennsylvania had a lot of coal mines too, and I mean, they're just upset about not being able to be in power anymore. Okay, they're losing money. Minorities are starting to become economically enfranchised for once, and I mean, they gotta go. And I think it's fine that they're overdosing on heroin and opioids and whatnot, because it just accelerates the process.
And it's good because even though we know we've got the rations because of the universal health care, but it's free, so it's good.
Yeah.
And even though it's ration, but here's the thing. When they're getting prescriptions to deal with their addictions, those prescriptions are opioids too.
Yeah.
So it just continues to, hurt them. So we've got this thing in the bag, dude.
So it's really, it's about them controlling their own problem, and obviously can't, because I mean, they're just stupid people. They're rednecks. They live in the mountains. They're hillbillies. And
they voted for Trump.
Yeah. And think about West Virginia is the most affected by this. That place overwhelmingly went for Trump. It's extremely, lacking in diversity. This couldn't happen to a more worse people. So
yeah, why should I give a shit if a couple 100,000 redneck white people die?
And we're super against white supremacy, and if it's only white people out there, they're making more white supremacy by having white children, and there's no future for that. So
I doubt none of them are having sex with black women to have black children.
Yeah, I bet there's not a lot of cuckoldry out there, and it's a damn shame.
Yeah.
Let's move on to something that actually happened here in Chicago.
Yeah, this happened a day before we got here.
Yeah.
So we almost saw this happen. So Trump Hotel in Chicago has fallen after a terrorist attack. The Trump International Hotel and Chicago's second tallest building fell victim to a terrorist attack last month. The building was targeted by suicide bombers who drove into the ground floors of the hotel before blowing up. ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attack, saying it is in revenge for Trump's Muslim ban and the new Confederacy for Trump's Muslim ban in the new Confederacy that has been implemented. Once the rubble is cleared, the city plans to turn the vacant lot into a 50-story, 500-room apartment for refugees. New Confederacy President Trump vowed to rebuild the hotel in Dallas or Houston in honor of those lost in the attack. ISIS has called for more attacks on Trump-owned properties across the world.
So this is good stuff, Got rid of Trump's hotel. Now it gets to be replaced with an apartment complex for refugees. I love having ISIS now as an ally. They do the dirty work that we're kind of afraid to do.
They're like our Navy SEAL teams.
Yeah. They're really great. And I don't know. I mean, this was actually, you misspoke for me. I've been in Chicago the last couple weeks, so I did get to see this. And, I was in town when this happened. I got to go out there. The rubble was really something. The stench of, death was pungent, and it was in my nose. But, I mean, this is what happens. This is what has to happen for progress, okay? Progress is going to be messy. But you gotta crack a couple eggs to have a revolution, and we're having a progressive revolution of pure equality. And to do that, we have to destroy monuments of bigotry, like Trump Tower in Chicago.
It's even better, Enzo. Every time I go and I walk down the river, I don't have to look at a giant building with the word Trump on it in the background of every freaking picture I try to take.
That is an improvement. Now, there's one issue we need to watch out for.
Yeah, what's that?
Mel Gibson is now a senator in Illinois.
Right.
Do you think he's going to focus on preventing the refugee apartment complex we built? Does he?
Ooh, that's
maybe
right.
he'll team up with the coalition and prevent that. who knows? I mean...
This is why the Democrats needed to get out and vote.
Yeah.
They can't sit home and let this happen.
And, like, Michelle, because she's part of the Black Nationalist Party, I think a lot of people were, concerned about not voting for them. I think maybe they thought, like, you need to be black to do that. So, I don't know. We need to get rid of that misconception because there's, drastic results about not winning these elections. And... I mean, I'm glad Trump Tower is gone. I hope it never comes back. But we got to be vigilant about it coming back. And, I mean, if it comes back, hopefully ISIS blows it up again.
It's a little fun game we play.
Yeah. So, I don't know, good stuff. Really good stuff, actually.
Yeah.
Let's get on to the next thing.
So the next story is colleges are struggling to deal with overcrowding after adopting the Free College Bill. With the passage of the Free College Bill, American universities have struggled to expand with the growth in enrollment. Classroom sizes have, on average, tripled across the nation, as many teachers have abandoned grades altogether to keep up with the onslaught of grading. Clinton has expressed at the moment no concern over the matter, saying all we need to do is build more colleges, which is always a sound investment in our futures. Democratic leadership have worked to craft a bill to do just that. You know who wrote the bill, Enzo?
Who wrote the bill?
Bernie Sanders.
Oh, man, he's solid. He's solid.
He's on top of this thing.
If Hillary was the nominee, like we've said, we would have voted for him enthusiastically. But I don't know. I mean, this is just the growing pain of the free college thing. As Clinton said, she's not really concerned about it. We're just going to build new colleges, and like she said, it's a sound investment in the future. I mean,
and you can't just build a college in like a month.
Yeah,
it takes several months to start building buildings and stuff. So this stuff takes time. We just now implemented it. So yeah, it's like you said, it's growing pains. It's one of those things where come back a year from now and everything's going to be fine.
And like with the teachers getting rid of like grading, that's not exactly a bad thing. Like it's more progressive. Like it's giving people validation, because grading people, that's ableism. Mm-hmm. Okay, what if you're not smart? Did you think about that? I don't think so. So really, there's nothing to worry about. We got the situation under control.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. There's only one thing I'm worried about. You know what that is, Enzo?
What?
Is that if more people are going to college, that's going to be a lot more traffic in those college towns.
Yeah.
And that means that those college towns need to, build better roads. So we need to make sure that those funds are there for those roads.
Yeah, which, I mean, we have a lot of colleges here in Chicago, and the traffic's already really bad, but the influx of people, I don't know, that's why we need to build more of them. I think we just need to spread them out more.
You think so?
Yeah.
Spread the wealth around.
Yeah, and I mean, you build a college in a smaller city, it makes the city grow. Yeah. So really, as we said, it's a sound investment, but it's also an investment in our underserved communities, places that aren't as urbanized.
I got you.
And, if we build these colleges in the rural areas, they won't be dumb. They won't be bigoted. And then they'll vote for Democrats instead of Republicans. So really, this is something we need to get behind.
I like it. Want to move on to the next story?
Yeah, so this is the last story we have for national news.
Okay. Free healthcare is leading to longer wait periods. We kind of got to this
mentioned
a little bit. But, here's the actual article. Increased waiting periods in the universal single-payer healthcare system has led to widespread condemnation from the public at large. Polling from Pew Research finds a solid 84% of Americans are dissatisfied with the healthcare system due to longer wait periods. In addition, the American Doctoral Association has found 3 in 4 doctors have considered retiring or finding new employment due to extended hours to keep up with demand.
So, I don't know. I mean, you could look at this in a negative way or positive way. And we try to be positive on here, so let's start with that. This is just a growing pain, as we said with the college thing. We need to keep that in perspective. And the thing with getting rid of a lot of these doctors is they're mainly old white males. So really, we can just import new doctors, okay? There's a lot of them from India. We just need to maybe create a more like a special visa program like we have for ISIS.
Yeah.
And I mean, Syria had a lot of doctors too. I'm pretty sure they have a single payer system out there as well, at least before the Civil War. So I mean, it'll be okay, and the waiting periods will go down. We just need to build some more hospitals, invest more money. So, I don't know. But on the negative side, like, yeah, a lot of people are dissatisfied. It kind of makes them angry with the Democrats. It makes them think about voting for Republicans. And that's not good. But I mean, like I said, we can overcome this.
But Enzo, it's free though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You think.
Would you rather wait 2 weeks or pay $150?
I'm definitely down with waiting.
Me too.
But I don't know, I guess some people, they just don't want to wait. They're a little impatient.
People are so impatient nowadays.
Yeah, people really need to have patience. I have a lot of patience with the government and Hillary Clinton, and that's what everyone needs. Because, I mean, we need to give her time. She can't do everything overnight. And as we said, like, these are just growing pains. We could expect these things. Not everything with policy is perfect, but, it's going to improve.
And what's the alternative? Trump?
Yeah.
The Confederacy? Racism? Sexism? Homophobia?
Yeah, Trump, he wanted to repeal
Bigotry,
Obamacare.
Islamophobia?
He wanted to repeal Obamacare. He's going to give over our health care to the corporations and the 1%. And we definitely can't do that. That's capitalism.
Needs to be stopped at all costs.
So, yeah, I mean, these polls don't sound good, but, I mean, who really cares?
People don't know what's good for them.
They don't.
They really don't.
Just because someone said something in a poll doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah.
So let's get into some international news.
International news. So Russia is pushing across Europe into France. The Russian military, allied with Poland, Hungary, Ukraine, Romania, and Czech Republic, has continued to push across Europe and has recently crossed the French border with Germany. Russian President Vladimir Putin has described his effort as an army, quote, fighting for God and country and the survival of the West against the barbarian hordes from the South. So far, the Russian government has claimed to have removed over half of all refugees and Muslims from Europe. The remaining refugees have fled to Western European countries as well as Great Britain. London Mayor Sadiq Khan welcomed the refugees with open arms and vowed to protect them at all costs.
So, yeah, extremely bad stuff. The Russians, I mean, they're good soldiers. And, like, we didn't mention this, but, like, yeah, Angela Merkel, she's in exile right now. So, I mean, she's the president, but we need to take back Germany. But I mean, we've conquered Europe several times over. We just need to push.
You see, what happened was, after we signed the peace deal with Russia and Syria, Russia decided to start removing the refugees from Europe. They wanted to re-control it. They wanted to get rid of the refugees and the Muslims. Like, how bad is that, Enzo?
That's not only bad, but just stupid. Like, it doesn't make economic sense.
They literally took all their armies that were no longer fighting in Alaska, no longer fighting in Syria, against us in both cases, invaded the rest of Europe. And here's what even pisses me off even more.
Yeah.
Is that Poland and Hungary and Ukraine and Romania and Czech Republic, the minute that Russia got to their borders, immediately said, we're on your side, we're going to fight with you, come on in, let's go. So, like, they're actually getting stronger the farther they push in instead of getting weaker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to do exactly, but I'm not a general, and Clinton's got this under wraps. I mean, she's got the best generals, the best people.
But we haven't heard any news of potentially going back over there.
Maybe
we got to deal with, Pennsylvania and the Confederacy right now.
Yeah, maybe we could come to like a peace agreement. Okay, we'll give them a lot of land. We'll stop fighting, and I mean, it's not the best.
I have an idea.
We can go get it later after we finish the Confederacy.
Here, I thought of an idea. Think about this, Enzo. Think about this. What if we let Russia get to a certain point, and we get to a certain point, okay? And what we do is we say, you control what's over there, we control what's over here. Don't fight us anymore. And we put up like a big wall or something in the middle, just like, make sure everyone knows where it's at.
Yeah, I'm okay with the wall.
And then we put guards there to make sure that, like, no one comes or goes that isn't supposed to be doing that.
I mean, that's what they did with, North and South Korea and the Berlin Wall. This has been done before. And generally we're against walls, but I mean, it's the Russians, okay? That's fine.
It's a wall keeping them out of the rest of Europe.
Yeah, it saves Europe.
So, like, I see no... Because, I mean, otherwise we're just going to have to fight them and a lot more people are going to have to die to retake that area.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
And I don't want to do that. I'd rather sign peace deals.
Yeah, I would rather
Hillary
stay
Clinton
at home than
is
fight.
the president of peace, Enzo.
Yeah, she is.
Anyways, so
Let's,
not really good news, but maybe some good news.
Let's get into the next thing.
Economic freedom fighters have taken white-owned land by force in South Africa. South Africa's Economic Freedom Fighters Party, headed by Julius Malema, have in Zimbabwean style seized white land in South Africa. Machetes and machine guns wielded party soldiers were set. Was that
wielded by? I think the author messed it up.
Oh, the author screwed up. I'm sorry. So machetes and machine guns wielded by party soldiers were sent nationwide to convince white property owners to surrender their land. President Zuma said the following, quote, "As Nelson Mandela said all those years ago, kill the Boer, kill the farmer. We are doing that and making him proud from the grave. Now our liberation from imperialism is complete. May all oppressed people find new light in the opportunity of such a bright future for themselves." After the seizure, the South African credit rating was downgraded to DD+, as the ANC government continued to lose support.
So yeah, it's good what they did. Okay, GDP, that's capitalism. Who cares? But I mean, fighting imperialism and fulfilling the desires of Nelson Mandela. Kill the Boer, kill the farmer. He's saying that pretty much immediately after he became president.
Yeah,
so it was his vision even from the beginning. And I mean, I don't know a lot about Africa, but I know Africa is for black people. So what are whites doing there, really?
Yeah, they're not native to that area.
Yeah.
So any land they have is stolen from the indigenous people that live there.
Yeah.
It's not their land, so why should they have any sort of right to it?
Yeah, and I mean, they can just go back to Africa, where they belong. That's their homeland. But as I said, Africa is the homeland of black people. So let them have these things.
Exactly.
Let's go to the next thing.
Okay. Back to Europe. Sweden abolishes borders. No borders, no wall, no Sweden at all, shouted celebrants of the Swedish Parliament's decision to abolish Sweden's borders. With support from Sweden's Islamic and left-wing coalition, the move allows now all peoples of the world to immigrate to the Scandinavian country with the hopes for a better future. New immigrants will be automatically entitled to the country's vast welfare, free education, and the right to vote upon arrival. German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who, as we said, she is currently in hiding in Sweden, by the way. Not many people know that. She's in Sweden. She's in Stockholm, dude.
Oh, wow.
I know that's supposed to be a secret, so just, don't tell anyone, okay?
Don't let Republicans listen to this.
Exactly. Yeah, German Chancellor Angela Merkel said the following after the signing of the historic legislation. Quote, "Sweden has now taken the forefront in the move towards a globe with the universal free movement of peoples. They shall now see the truest benefits of diversity and multiculturalism placed upon them by the world. Germany shall look to follow Sweden's lead in the future."
Once they take back Germany.
Once we take back Germany, that's right.
But, yeah, that is good stuff. I mean, who needs borders? I mean, we took down all the border walls and fences in our country, and
Fortunately, the Confederacy started putting them up.
Yeah, unfortunately. Even before that, Texas was doing it.
I actually thought of something really funny, Enzo.
What?
The Confederacy, every time a state joins, they're putting a border wall around it.
Yeah.
But they have to tear down the one that they already built before they join. So they're just wasting a bunch of time putting up walls.
Yeah, I mean...
Which proves that walls don't work.
They're not smart people. But, I mean...
Well, they're white Republicans. Of course they're not smart.
Yeah, I mean, they
elected
not
Donald
educated.
Trump as their president of the new Confederacy. These people are not smart at all.
They're pretty stupid. I mean, also Pennsylvania, you're so stupid you secede. You're not even close to the rest of the Confederacy. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about Sweden.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Sweden has taken in more refugees and, immigrants than anyone else in Europe. And they're loving it. Why do they need to be Sweden? Why can't they be a new thing? Why can't they progress towards being something new? Because Sweden has always historically been like a white Nordic country, and that's not diverse. That's homogeneous, and it's
racism.
That's racism. And, they can get a new flag that really celebrates who they are now, as opposed to a flag with a cross on that, because that's Christianity, and that reinforces white supremacy, as, we all know, and patriarchy. So, this is the right direction that they need to be heading in.
Precisely. And you know what? Here's something else that I'm really, really happy about this. And I'm glad that you brought up the flag issue, you know?
Yeah.
Because people have been trying to take and turn the Swedish flag to something else. Now they can do it. And, you know, I'm a flag guy. I love flags. Do you love flags?
Yeah, they're cool.
I love flags. That means I can buy another flag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
That'd
like
be a cool flag to have.
I would fly that everywhere.
Could you imagine, like, you have that flag in your house, and you bring over these, like, you know, ultra-hot progressive women with their, you know, blue hair, and they see the flag when you come in, like, they'll want to suck your dick instantly. They'll be like, this dude's cool. I'm just saying.
Maybe I'll bring that over if I meet with that Tinder chick again.
Yeah.
You know, like, when I met her, you know how, like, they try to take the pictures from certain angles to make themselves look good on Tinder, right, Enzo?
I mean, they already look good, but yeah.
So, like, I didn't know she had a tattoo. She had, like, a tramp stamp tattoo, but it was, like, roses.
Tramp stamp? Okay, that's rape culture.
Oh, I'm sorry, that is rape culture.
You just microaggressed.
I'm sorry.
Use better language.
She had a tattoo on her smaller lower of her back.
Yeah.
And it was, like, this, like, rose-looking thing. And I couldn't read what it said, but I thought it said AH as, like, letters, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, I was like, AH, and I thought this chick was a Nazi, because AH is Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, that is true.
But she said, no, it's not hers, it's her initials. So I was like, okay, that's good. I was really concerned. Yeah.
You know, now that you mention it, like Amy has like a similar tattoo. Pretty much the same.
Anyways, let's move on to the next story.
Yeah, let's move on.
I'm just kidding.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Chinese companies now claim control of the majority of African industries. This week, the Chinese Communist Party proclaimed that Chinese companies now control the majority of African industries, from gold, cobalt, diamonds, and agricultural industries. Chinese dominance has been seen in every nation in the continent. China has now looked to expand its territory via land purchase onto the continent in exchange for a pardoning of many nations' debt. China, now the world's leading superpower, with the decline of the United States, now has entered into a new golden era for its nation as the standard of living has risen to levels the United States has recently seen back in the 1990s. Bill Clinton, yeah. The original Clinton, so good times.
Really good economy.
Really good economy. African exploits in the nations has seen criticism from many global organizations, saying that these companies are based in prejudice against the local populations, seeing them as cattle. But the Chinese government, or the Chinese Communist Party, feeling a little dyslexic at the moment, but you know, ableism, who cares? Seeing them as cattle. But the Chinese Communist Party has responded that Chinese people cannot be racist since they are not white. That makes sense.
It does make sense. And, you know, here's the thing, though. This is, like, levels of imperialism that we shouldn't be having. Like, why should one country have the right to go to Africa and control it?
Now,
Europe tried to do that, and they screwed it all up.
I think you're looking at this wrong.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, you're looking at this wrong. Okay, imperialism. That's related to white supremacy, and
True, it did come from Europe.
As we know, Chinese people are not white supremacists. So, like, I guess they're helping them. I mean, pardoning debt is good, and like, if the Chinese government has the land, like, they're doing so good, like, they'll raise the standard of living in the new places they take over. So, I mean, I don't know what, you know, prejudice is happening, and prejudice isn't a good word, but, I mean, as we said, Chinese people can't be racist, so it's probably fake news.
Yeah, but, you know, we'll see how they go. It'll be interesting to see what happens. If, like, Putin keeps removing refugees, how do you think the Chinese are going to deal with that if they start going back to Africa?
I don't know. I mean, they'll probably increase the GDP or something, so.
That's always a good thing.
Immigrants make everything better, so. Refugees, the same.
They're welcome here.
Yeah. Let's go into the last article we have for this week.
Wow, this story is a good one, and so it's a really good one, and by that I mean really, really bad.
Yes.
Canada surrendered to Russia. This happened right after I left. So, like, you know. After the United States surrendered Alaska to Russia, Russian President Vladimir Putin promised to retreat his troops in Canada back across the Alaskan border. Instead, he pushed his troops south into British Columbia and then east, heading towards Toronto. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau waved the white flag, signing a peace and surrender treaty in Vancouver, British Columbia, with President Putin. Dude, Canada is now controlled by the Russians.
Yeah. It's not good because they're next to us, but I mean, we could build a border wall with them too. I mean, at least they haven't really invaded so much the United States yet. Just, skirmishes here and there. But, yeah, obviously bad.
You know what I'm really, really concerned about, Enzo? Think about this. Russia signed a peace treaty with the new Confederacy.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, they're allies.
They are. And they both are fighting against the United States.
Yes.
Lake Erie is bordered on one side by Canada, on the other side by Pennsylvania.
Now,
so, what if the Russians move their troops to Pennsylvania to fight?
That could be a thing. I want to touch on two things, a positive and a negative. Let's start with the positive. Canada is a progressive bastion. They have Justin Trudeau, so they're not going to take this sitting down. Okay, they hate the Nazis. The Russians are Nazis. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think they'll revolt and they'll fight for their freedom. But the negative, the bad side of this is Canada has a lot of refugees. So what's going to happen to them? The Russians.
Are they going to remove them into the United States? Are they going to send them back
Maybe they'll do worse. I mean, they had the gulags in Russia. They're not that far away. What if they send them there?
Oh, that
could be like a Holocaust.
You got me really concerned for these people now.
Yeah, that's why the Canadians need to stand up to the Russian oppressors and kick them out. And I mean, if we can do anything to help, we should. But really, at the moment, we're spread out with our army pretty thin. We really couldn't afford a Russian invasion, but thankfully, at least they haven't yet. So,
well, all I got to say is, here's the thing. I have the solution to this, Enzo. You ready?
Yes.
We take the refugees that are in Canada, and instead of having them get kicked out of Canada, we save them by sending them to California. You know why? Think about this, Enzo. Think about this. A lot of the refugees are from Africa, right?
Yeah.
And you know how we saw those statistics by the CDC that said 45 or 50% of the refugees have HIV? Remember hearing that?
Yeah, I think so.
And here's the thing. They are so limited to who they're allowed to have sex with because of this HIV that, it was really, really, being, what's the word I'm looking for? Discriminatory against them, right?
Yeah.
The world? But, California made it so it's legal to give HIV to people without them knowing. So, all you got to do is send them to California, and then all of a sudden you don't have to worry about that anymore. They will no longer be oppressed by who they are and aren't allowed to sleep with, Enzo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, they could do that. It'd be great.
It would be, but, I don't know. I'd rather the refugees get to stay in Canada. They've been setting up, their lives there for years. Because, the refugee policy in Canada.
Would you rather them move to California where they get free healthcare, free education, free welfare, and they can fuck whoever they want, or stay in Canada where it's cold and with Russians that might kill them?
Obviously, California.
We need to make this happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to see what happens. If we have to go save the refugees because they're sending them, to be holocausted, we're going to have to do that. But if Russia allows us to have them, yeah, California is a great place for them to go. And, it's an improvement from California or in Canada from a ways. It's warmer there. They can go surfing.
They can set up more falafel trucks, everything.
Yeah, could you imagine falafel trucks in California, have them on the beach with hummus trucks? Everyone's going to love it.
I would love it. Yeah. It'd be just like San Marcos, but with, oceans.
An ocean, yeah.
I'd love it.
But, yeah, that's the show for this week. I don't have anything else. Do you, Bobby?
All I got to say is, I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I love the fact that Hillary Clinton's my president.
I do so much.
You can listen to these episodes we've done. Things are so good right now.
Well,
Well, they're not as good.
No,
but that's because of Republicans and racism.
Yeah, fascism. So, like, I don't know. I mean, we gotta have patience, like we said. And she still is working super hard, and she does the best she can. But yeah, it's great having a woman president. It really, empowers women. She sets a good model for young women, and that's the future.
Yeah. Speaking of the future, by the time we do this next episode, I don't know where we're going to be. I mean,
probably
we're getting
Pennsylvania.
ready to fight Pennsylvania. That fight might actually be done by that point. I don't know where we'll be.
Maybe we're fighting the Russians in Canada.
We might be fighting Trump in Texas.
We could be doing that too. Hopefully the Civil War goes well. But
yeah.
Hopefully. But with that, this is the episode for this week. I don't have anything else.
No, I don't got anything else. I'm good.
Okay. Thank you for listening to another episode of Hillary Planet Podcast, and have a good one.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.